So I've shown this memory design off before on the channel, and in the previous video where I showed it off, this is pretty much what it was before, except from at the bottom here I've changed it from that to this. In the previous design, or yeah, in this one you'll have the individual cells, which are like 2 by 1 sort of sections. They'll power a piston below them, and since it's all connected to a slime block, it powers it whenever you power any of these pistons. And lines don't interact because whenever one's powered, you can't power any of the others. So in theory, that should mean that it's completely fine. But I don't know. I feel like this is probably very breakable, just because of slime, the amount of slime blocks and the amount of pistons there. I didn't really like that solution to it. However, this design that I've made for it is a lot better in my opinion. It's just a lot of the time it's just a piston pushing a redstone block down, which I feel like is a lot more safer than dealing with slime blocks. And the slime blocks that I do use are pretty much only attached to one other block. So I don't know. I think it's a lot safer of a design, and plus it's also 2 blocks smaller, which is very nice. And I mean, also when you activate each individual one, it only activates like a few blocks at a time. Where this one, it'll move a whole bunch of different blocks. It potentially could be more lag efficient as well. But yeah, I've improved on this design by making it a few blocks smaller in a bunch of different ways. That's the first one. I think that's only made it like a block smaller, but there's a other thing I've done. So in this design, which I think is the current best design that I have for this 2 by 1 cell system, you can see down here the change. I've gone from using sort of this downwards inverter design to this one. Now, as you can see here, it's about like 2 blocks smaller, the new design. However, I don't think it got 2 blocks saving in the final design. I think there was something that made it 1 block larger than it needed to be, or I don't know. But with those two changes in general, I believe that the design has become about 1 or 2 blocks smaller. And also, it looks a lot more compact now. It looks very densely populated. I mean, the it looks like a lot more dense in terms of redstone. You can see the previous designs, a lot of air gaps. I mean, it really doesn't matter seeing air, to be fair, but um, it looks nicer, I guess. And also, it is in general more compact anyway. But there are some other changes that I've done to the design, which I don't know if I would consider them absolute wins or not. Because they're not necessarily keeping with the original design, but just being better. But they are better, and whether you consider the downsides, or maybe they're not downsides to you, I don't know. Basically, the way that this design works is 2 blocks smaller, I think, or I don't know, it seems to be significantly smaller. I think it's only like 2 blocks actually, though, but anyway, it's smaller. And instead, the way it's smaller, instead of inverting the redstone signal, like when you power or when you set a bit here, it will invert the signal here, and therefore this piston will be unpowered whenever you read from it. Oops. Yeah. So instead, we don't do that with this design. We just have it so that whenever you set a bit here, it will power this piston, and when you don't set the piston, it will depower. So this ends up making it so that the output is inverted. So these are all on states, and these are all off states that I set. So the output is actually inverted with this design. Uh, Whether that really matters or not, I don't know. I mean, you're not reading, they're all technically off, but essentially you can just sort of fix that by making it so that you don't read it, or you don't read the output unless you actually are reading a cell. So as you can see with the output or the cell at the back there, you can see that it just inverts the output at the bottom, and then it actually gives you the true result of what I stored in the cell. So I don't know whether I would consider that an absolute win or not. It seems a bit cheaty and maybe not correct, but it does make it 2 blocks smaller and kind of keeps the same functionality. So in doing those few things, I thought, I wonder how small I could actually get the memory cells now. With all the previous things that I did before, the top at the bit at the top here is a lot larger than this design, but that's because it's actually a lot faster. Instead, it's like, sort of proper repeater speed of 15 blocks every repeater, whereas this one there's a repeater every other block, making it a lot slower. But that was like in previous designs. It is a lot more compact though. So with the slower but more compact design, you can get it down, or you can get the size down to something like this, and does look very compact. And you can go further and incorporate the sort of inverted design as well as the sort of slower compact thing at the top and the bottom here, and we have a cell which is very, very small. I believe it's like 20 blocks of volume or something. And yeah, this is a incredibly small cell design. It's the volume I can show over here. This is the volume of one of the cells in there. But yeah, this has a bunch of problems. Well, I don't know. It depends on whether you consider them problems or not, but I feel like having the thing be slow is probably a big problem. At the top here and the bottom here, they have a repeater every other block. Yeah, anyway. So, this is like the smallest I've been able to get a redstone cell before. And yeah, I thought it was a good saving. So in general, I've made the best, or like the design with like, I say no compromises, it still does have, unfortunately, some delay with writing and reading, with a repeater every other block in the writing and reading. But at least the input and the output are all a lot faster. Other things that I mean, you can also see that I've been working on this with sort of like singular cell cutouts there. We got various different things. Also working on getting the reading and writing of the cells a little bit faster with sort of a repeater every other block, I guess. So having a redstone dust in between them. Unfortunately, it's annoying when working sort of with the redstone so close together as it is, because a lot of the time they'll like to sort of interact with each other. I mean, it does make sense when it's this close together. But yeah, this design didn't work because like when you have the line here, this line will react with it because of the redstone there. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next redstone video.